The Adriatic Highway. A 1,200-kilometer-long road set against breathtaking scenery. The highway is one of the most fascinating roads in the Mediterranean. It attracts many visitors and beguiles them. A road of dreams that can turn into a nightmare. Zeljko Krsticiewicz has driven regularly on the Adriatic Highway since he was a boy. For him, this road is still a challenge and also an adventure at the same time. Zeljko loves the highway, but also has huge respect for it.
I've driven on this road countless times, but it always feels like the first time, because it's always so unpredictable. Sometimes straight, sometimes winding, and that's exactly what makes it so appealing. And as for the beauty of the landscape, it's indescribable.
The Adriatic Highway is one of the most beautiful roads in the world. This technical masterpiece was built in the 1960s in the former Yugoslavia. The road begins just after Trieste and first travels through Slovenia. Over half of its 1,200-kilometer length is in Croatia. Around Neum, 9 kilometers of Bosnia and Herzegovina are squeezed in between. South of Dubrovnik, another 125 kilometers stretch into Montenegro. The highway is still the major artery for Adriatic tourism in all 4 countries. Zeljko's journey on the Adriatic Highway begins in the north, in Crikvenica. He himself lives in the south, where he grows figs, mandarins and olives. He processes the fruits at his family-run business, making them into jam, marmalade, honey and liqueur in traditional old ways. He wants to try to sell his products at selected specialty shops in the tourist hubs along the highway.
Hello, I'm Zeljko. Hello, pleased to meet you. We spoke on the phone about my products. I'm a bit late. The road was very busy. It's all handmade.
Figs and mandarins are processed mainly in the south. Zeljko hopes he can attract interest for his specialty products in the north. From Crikvenica, the journey continues southwards. Just after Senj, Zeljko will face the most winding part of the highway. For 70 kilometers, it winds in tight serpentine bends around the Velebit mountains. Patience and care are required here.
I think the engineers made a big mistake in planning these bends. Some of them are built so that their incline is, how can I say, just the wrong way around. However quickly or slowly you drive into a bend like that, it always pushes you out. Now we're driving into one of these exact bends, and it always pushes us out of the left. Now it's pushing me out. This part of the highway is also known for the Bora, which can sometimes blow with a strength of up to even 160 kilometers per hour.
Particularly in autumn and winter, cars can be blown right off the road by the Bora's fierce gusts of wind. So this section gets closed off for vehicles in strong winds. Many car drivers would gladly do without these serpentine bends. But motorcyclists come from all over the world especially for them. Tight bends in a unique landscape. An El Dorado for every motorbike fan. For Jure Mishkulin, it's his home stretch, which he visits when he needs quiet and time to himself. As a bus driver, he also spends his time on the highway through his job. Jure loves the adventure of this road. If only there weren't all the irresponsible drivers.
I'm pleased that tourists like to come here. We depend on tourism, so as long as there are tourists, things are good for us. But they should be more careful. Many of them don't take enough care and drive at 50, 60 kilometers per hour, then see something pretty and stop without looking to see if anyone is behind them and turn around where they aren't allowed to, putting themselves and others in danger.
Considering the beautiful scenery and its picture-perfect scenes, you can understand why people so often stop without thinking. And everyone who has ever driven on the highway quickly forgets anything unpleasant and raves only about its charm. Most tourists keep coming back, hungry for Adventure Street.
It's hot, unbearably hot today, and I'm slowly getting tired. I feel totally sick thinking about how much more driving I have to do.
Zeljko, meanwhile, has left the winding road behind him, and he's getting closer to the town of Šibenik, on a straight part of the highway. Experienced highway drivers know all too well that stretches like this are not at all relaxing. Quite the opposite. The rare opportunities to overtake are used here all too often for risky maneuvers. An alert glance in the wing mirror can be life-saving.
It's very difficult to drive here. It's quite demanding. It might be a straight stretch, but as soon as the white line is interrupted, drivers start tailgating behind me, impatiently awaiting any opportunity to overtake, and then they race off like crazy. It isn't normal how they drive. It's so reckless. The biggest problem on this road is this speeding, the risky overtaking maneuvers, and of course the recklessness of some drivers. Here again. Two people died here as well. Something has happened at every one of these bends. Between 1995 and 2010, 30,000 people lost their lives on Croatian roads. Almost half of them on this highway alone.
At least the police here are very much in evidence. They carry out regular speed checks and alcohol tests at certain sections where drivers like to step on the gas. As soon as police cars are visible, drivers immediately slow down and take more care.
Most accidents happen because of using inappropriate speed. The problem with foreign tourists is also that they can't drive on our roads. They're just used to motorways where the bends are very gentle and manageable, so you can drive much faster.
It's often minor traffic offences that can have tragic consequences. Making phone calls whilst driving and turning without looking have cost people their lives.
I saw both arrows and thought it was allowed.
The two most common causes of traffic accidents are disregarding the right of way and unlawful turning. This lady turned here from right to left across the solid line. That is not allowed. That often leads to serious accidents.
Local drivers are observed particularly closely. The police patrol has just found a repeat offender whose driving licence they have already taken away twice due to drink driving. Police officers risk their own lives in car chases on the highway. Today, they don't have to race. The offender gives up quickly. Everything's fine. The driver's alcohol test shows no alcohol content in his breath, and the data check shows that he has had his driving license back for a week.
Hello? Hello, Dalibor? Yes? Oh, no, not now. It's so hot and I can't right now. How far is it? Where are you exactly? Say where you are. There's a lot of traffic here. I'm on the bridge now.
Okay.
The Šibenik Bridge is not only a popular place for a photo opportunity, it also offers the very brave a special kind of kick.
All right, I'll be there in 10-15 minutes, okay? All right.
Okay.
My name is Vedran. Hello, Lana. It's your first time? Okay, great. Okay. One, three, punch!
Zeljko has no time to stay. Dalibor, his son-in-law, has asked him to pick him up from the Krka waterfalls and take him home. Dalibor took a trip with his friends, but has to leave early. Zeljko didn't need to be convinced. It's rare that he gets the opportunity to make a detour across the nature park. The area is famous thanks to the cowboy movies that were filmed here.
How was it in Srikvenica? Don't ask. Did you sell anything? Hardly anything.
Slabo.
From the Kirka waterfalls back to Šibenik. The highway circles around the old Baroque town in tight bends. One of them is named after the owner of the house many cars have hurtled into.
Here, Dalibor. This is the notorious Tsaricha Bend, where trucks have crashed down into people's gardens and living rooms. It's been made a bit safer, but I still find it eerie. I always drive more slowly here so I don't fly out.
There have been fewer accidents since a protective barrier was put in place around the bend, but Miroslav Militic still shivers every time he hears brakes squeal.
My kitchen is down there, 10 meters away. This is where a truck flew off the bend several years ago and tumbled down here. There was a pile of gravel there at the time that the driver's cabin landed into, thank goodness. The end of the truck was around here, and the end wheels of the trailer were still up on the highway.
Anita Kokolo has also witnessed quite a lot here. Bad accidents were a part of her everyday life as a child.
There really have been a lot of accidents here. We heard the clatter, the screams. Then we heard the police coming, the paramedics. I saw the injured people lying in pools of blood. It was terrible.
Continuing southwards, the highway runs through many small villages like a tightly stretched band. There's a lot of congestion in summer when the tourists arrive.
I have to get back soon to get to an event. I'll never get there like this.
Sitting in a traffic jam at 40 degrees is stressful and exhausting. It doesn't even get any better when you leave the highway and go into the towns. There are too many cars moving on streets that are far too narrow. And so Zeljko is also late for his next meeting. For this trip, he has only selected a few shops. First, he wants to test the chances for his business idea. Just before Split, nothing is moving on the Adriatic Highway. It's hopelessly overcrowded. Streams of tourists come upon tense locals who want to get moving quickly, just like Marica Bielobrik, who runs a small grocery shop in Kashta Lukšić near Split. She drives along the stretch several times a day with deliveries.
Did you just see who came shooting out from a side street there? Side streets join onto the highway all over. That is a big problem. It's supposed to be a fast road, so there can't be a crossing every few meters. You have to be permanently on edge. You never know when someone will suddenly turn in from the side.
The road tempts you to drive quickly in the places where it's well constructed. Car drivers can easily forget that there are houses, fields and schools along here, and that side streets join the road. Many people have lost their lives here, including many children. So desperate parents were searching for a safe way for their children to cross the road. They found a solution for Andrea and his schoolmates underneath the road in a rainwater pipe.
This road is very dangerous. In the past, when there wasn't this ladder to the pipe, someone always had to accompany us across the street. Our parents were always worried about us because children had been killed here on their way to school. Sometimes it takes half an hour until you can get across. Now, with the ladder, our parents are reassured. They know that we can cross safely, and now they let us go everywhere alone. It isn't particularly pleasant in the pipe. There are snakes and rats, but it's still better than walking across the highway.
There's nowhere to cross the street here. It's unbelievable. This road here isn't normal. So much traffic, such hustle and bustle. It's unbelievable. I don't want to live here. It must be one of the most dangerous places in Croatia. When I think about how many people have lost their lives here, hopefully it'll get better when the new section is finished. Maybe. It's not good here.
In order to make the highway safer, there is constant construction work, even in high season. It's being improved in many places. Its tight bends are being straightened, and the surface is being repaired. In some places, the road is built on such a slant into the hillside that in heavy rainfall, it gets filled up and washed away by mudslides. People are doing piece rate work in unbearable heat. When this road was built in the 1960s, it was an unimaginable feat of human muscle power. Today, the highway is still considered to be a great technical masterpiece. Engineer Zeljko Krsticiewicz was involved in its planning and supervision from the very beginning.
The construction was an unbelievable technical challenge. It was only when we received machinery from the Americans that it progressed more quickly. Until then, we'd worked metre by metre over months and years, mostly using our bare hands alone. It was an incredible act of strength. It was all just rocks and woodland here before. Look where the rock was cut away here. Thousands of cubic meters of stone had to be carried away with bare hands. But with the machinery, everything ran much more quickly. People from all over Yugoslavia worked on the highway. Nobody asked if you were Bosnian, Croatian or Serbian. We all stuck together. Anyone would have given their life for someone else. A great friendship united us that unfortunately no longer exists these days.
a taj put jedan za drugoga bi pogibali.
At the fruit stands in Ploče, the sellers still hope to do good business in the evening. The sweet fruit from the Neretva Delta is known throughout the whole of Croatia. Under abundant sunshine, the fruit ripens in fertile soil. Zeljko is back home. Janja, his wife, is already waiting for him at her stall.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, how was it?
Difficult. It was hot and busy. There was a huge traffic jam between Split and Makarska. It's unbelievable how some people speed and overtake.
Today's journey is almost over for Zeljko and Dalibor, but the highway won't be quiet for a while yet. Even at night, the traffic continues to move ceaselessly. People are driving to the many clubs and bars along the road. And some sparkling nights end in a roadside ditch. The next morning, Zeljko and Dalibor load up the estate car to continue the journey towards Dubrovnik.
Here I am. Put it in there. Is everything ready? Yep. So I can go? Yes. Drive slowly, be careful, and take care of yourself. All right. They drive crazily here. People speed and overtake. When my wife is at the stand, I'm always scared that someone could run her over. It has happened before that drivers have tried to get past other cars and have sped into the fruit stalls and flattened everything. You risk your life even just standing next to the road.
Accidents on the straight parts of the road usually end up being the deadliest, as it's tempting to drive fast there. It's often young people who are killed. Often it's down to alcohol stopping them seeing clearly after nights out at the club. It's the careless speeding and looking for an adrenaline kick that makes them put their own and others' lives on the line. Kristina has been driving more carefully since her best friend Pero lost his life in an accident. She herself also had an accident a year ago that showed her just how quickly something like that can happen.
It's been a warning for me. After Pero died, I was scared, and so were our friends who drive. They say that they always think of Pero when they step on the gas. Yes, it's only when someone gets killed that we really become aware of how much we're risking our lives by speeding.
After the fertile fields of the Neretva Delta, the highway dips down towards the sea. From here, the road is open again for trucks. Branislav Jovanovic has been a truck driver for over 30 years. He transports goods between Italy and Montenegro. He spends a lot of time on the highway and still gets annoyed at the behavior of other drivers.
When you're driving, you need to concentrate and mustn't get distracted. Many drivers stick to the rules, but unfortunately there are just as many who don't. For example, I can overtake here because from here I have a good view of the traffic, but others still overtake even though they can't see properly. Look here, if I hadn't put the indicator on now, he would have overtaken me, even with this oncoming traffic. Here you're allowed to drive 70, so why do people have to drive 80 or 90? Why?
Since the Yugoslavia war, the highway has passed through 4 countries: Slovenia, Croatia, Montenegro and Bosnia and Herzegovina. From Neum, there's a 7-kilometer-long section that is part of Bosnia and Herzegovina. So 2 border crossings interrupt the Croatian coastline in close succession.
Hello.
Thank you, goodbye. It's annoying that I constantly have to show my papers when I leave my country here and travel 7 kilometers back into it. It's absurd. Hopefully that won't be necessary anymore when the new bridge at Neum will join Croatia to Croatia.
There are still 60 kilometers to go to Dubrovnik. Zeljko has already spent the whole journey looking forward to fresh oysters from the Bay of Ston, which are famous all over the country.
Hello.
Hello, yes please.
How's the traffic at the moment?
Terrible and frightening.
Do people always drive so fast here?
Yes, terrible.
Aren't you scared to be here?
Of course. 2 days ago, 2 people drove into each other. A girl from Neum.
There was an accident here?
Yes, by the rocks over there. People always speed here. Convoys start forming.
Big convoys?
So big that you get a headache from all the noise. We've put these white concrete bollards in place as protection, as a car raced into here 3 years ago.
While some people fear the dangers of the highway, others see it as a challenge. Many tourists have the courage to cycle on the highway. They want to experience the magnificent landscape with all their senses. But the heat and intense traffic demand complete concentration. And the rest areas are the best places to enjoy the landscape anyway, even if you're on a bike.
Ja, das ist noch die Insel. Ja, ist schon noch ein Stück.
Zeljko has reached Dubrovnik. The most beautiful town on the Adriatic is a tourist magnet. For George Bernard Shaw, it was even paradise on earth. Up on a cliff, with waves lapping on 3 sides, and surrounded by a mighty defensive wall, Dubrovnik continues to captivate all its visitors. Zeljko has made contact with 2 shops and is hoping that its owners like his specialty products. He would also like to be strolling through the narrow alleyways, enjoying the grand beauty of medieval buildings, but he has to keep going.
The highway is vital for the livelihood of people along the coast. Without it, we would be living under the kind of standards we did 30 years ago. This road has taken many lives, but it has also ensured the survival of many, giving them the opportunity to make a living from tourism. And the foreign guests who drove on the highway were always aware of how unpredictable and dangerous it is, and they came anyway.
Just before Montenegro, an accident has happened. Some young Czech tourists wanted to get back to the hotel quickly after their trip to the beach and simply turned around in front of a bend, even though there was a solid line on the road. The oncoming motorcyclist saw them too late and couldn't avoid them. Miraculously, he managed to avoid injury, despite the severity of the collision. This was one of the many operations for the police on this day. They're pleased that nobody is injured, and are once more astounded to see the kind of rash driving maneuvers that some drivers are capable of.
Irresponsible drivers like these, who don't stick to the rules, do annoy me. Most accidents happen in the high season, in July and August. Sometimes entire families lose their lives.
The highway leaves Croatia 45 kilometers south of Dubrovnik and continues through Montenegro. Since this section is part of the well-known smuggling routes, there are strict customs checks. As a result, there can be long delays.
I'm driving through Montenegro for the first time now. For me, it's a real adventure. I don't know the road. I'm also quite tired. But I like it a lot here. This bay is so beautiful. I can hardly believe that right now I'm driving through one of the most beautiful bays in the Mediterranean, the Bay of Kotor. It's so beautiful. It's heavenly, a real gift of nature. Although the customs regulations make it difficult to export his goods to Montenegro, Zeljko still wants to try.
He knows that many rich Russian tourists go on holiday to Kotor and Budva. Two shops have already shown their interest. As in Croatia, the highway in Montenegro passes through beautiful landscapes. Here too, this is both a travel route and a town road. You need to be skilled at the wheel and have patience to drive here. The highway's close proximity to the sea that makes it so attractive is also its biggest problem. In some places, it's built so close to the beaches and the waterfront that beach life sometimes takes place on the road itself.
The highway is like a woman, beautiful, unpredictable, seductive, and somehow also irresistible. She seduces you into doing stupid things, and then when you least expect it, she gets back at you. I advise everyone who drives on the highway to have patience. Patience and even more patience.
Although the new bypasses are supposed to help alleviate the strain on the highway, it is still overloaded. A trip along the highway is simply a must for any visit to the Adriatic. Despite all its dangers, it's a unique experience to drive on one of the most beautiful roads in the world.